Okay, today we're gonna do a materials exploration where we're gonna create different values of the grayscale, ranging from black, dark gray, medium gray, light gray, and white, but we're also gonna add color to our grayscales to create what are called tints, shades, and tones. Now, the reason why we're going over value is because value is the fourth element of art after color. So we're going to do a combination of combining values with colors to create tints, shades, and tones. And one of the ways that we're going to do that is we're going to take a color and we're going to try to make it lighter to create a tint. So having it have a little white in it to make it a little bit lighter creates a tint. For a shade, when you add black to that color, it makes it darker, which is called a shade of that color. And then last but not least, tones are when you add both black and white, which makes gray to the color, to make what's called a tone, which means that that color looks a little bit more toned down, not as bright, and a little bit grayish. So we're going to play around with our crayons to create different tint, shades, and tones. So in order to do this project, what you are going to need is a piece of paper and crayons, and that's about it. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna play around first with creating different values just by adjusting how hard we press down with our crayons. So what you wanna do is you wanna lay your piece of paper down so that it is tall and skinny. This is called portrait mode. And then what we're going to do is we are going to do some folding with our paper. So I want you to put your pincher at the top and a pincher at the bottom. And we are going to take that pincher from the top and bring it down to the pincher at the bottom. Then we're going to flatten it and crease so that it is folded in half. Now keep it folded, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our pincher on the top fold and at the bottom, and we're gonna fold it in half again, bringing that top pincher down to our bottom pincher, flattening it out and crease so that you have kind of what's called a hot dog fold. Now that we have this kind of skinny, long hot dog fold, let's unfold our piece of paper, and voila! We have a piece of paper that shows 1, 2, 3, 4 sections on our paper, which we're gonna play around with our crayons to create different values. The first crayon that we want to grab is our black crayon. So let's see if black crayon's around. Black crayon, are you here? Yes, I'm here. Okay, black crayon. Now you just drank a whole bunch of coffee. Oh yes, ha 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 ha. And you are full of energy. Oh yes, ha 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 ha. Now, black crayon, what we're gonna do is all of us are gonna get our black crayons out that just drank a lot of coffee, and we are gonna start from the top section, pressing down really hard and going really quickly because our crayon has a lot of energy from that coffee. And then after a while, our crayon is going to lighten the pressure, not press as hard. And our poor crayon is gonna get so sleepy and it's going to lose its steam to make our lighter values, okay? So let's see if we can try it. Ready? Get your black crayon, start at the top of the page. Ready? We're gonna press down really hard, having him go back and forth. Oh my gosh, back and forth, pressing really hard because our crayon ate so much coffee and so much sugar. Oh, and it's pressing down really hard, making that black back and forth. Uh-oh, but wait a minute. We're gonna lighten our pressure. We're not gonna press as hard, and we're gonna go a little bit slower because our crayon is starting to lose its energy. And look, our black is starting to get a little bit lighter. It's turning into a gray, and then at the end, let's barely press down. Oh no, poor black crayon barely has any energy left. Barely pressed down to make that light gray. Did your crayon make the different values ranging from black, gray, light gray? If yours did, great job. If you need more practice, let's go on to our next one. We're gonna get our red crayon out. Red, are you ready? Oh, yes, I am. Now, red just ate 10 ice cream cones. Oh, and is all full of sugar. So we're gonna start with our red crayon on this side, and we're gonna press really hard because the red crayon has a lot of sugar in her. And we're pressing really hard, back, forth, really quickly, really quickly. Oh my goodness, so much energy, but wait a minute. The energy is starting to slow down. We're going to press lighter. We're not pressing as hard anymore, but we're still going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. But we're going slower. And now we're barely pressing poor red crayon down because red crayon is too tired. All right, red crayon, thank you so much. You can take a nap. Our next crayon that we're gonna do is yellow crayon. Now, yellow crayon ate 15 candy bars and is so full of energy. So right at the side, we are going to press down hard and go back and forth, pressing really hard, really quickly. Press hard, so that yellow becomes a darker yellow. And then, oh no, the energy's starting to leave our poor yellow. So we're gonna press a little bit lighter and go slower. Still going back and forth, but pressing lighter and lighter and lighter until, oh no, as we go on to the very end, we're pressing very lightly because poor crayon, poor yellow ran out of energy and yellow needs to take a nap. Okay, let's end up with our last crayon, blue. Blue ate 18 piece cupcakes, 18 cupcakes. Whoa! And blue crayon is ready to go. So at the side, let's press down really hard and go back, forth, really quickly, pressing really hard. And then we're keeping going, but then, oh no, blue crayon is starting to lose his energy. So we're pressing down lighter, but still going back and forth. Uh-oh, even lighter. Oh no, losing that energy. Press down very light. Oh, poor blue can barely press down it. Oh, because poor blue ran out of energy and needs to take a nap. Look how when our crayon was pressing down really hard, the colors became darker. But then as our poor crayons lost energy and we weren't pressing down as hard, the color got lighter and lighter and became the tints of that color. Remember, the tint of a color means that it's much lighter, it has more white in it. But let's see if we can create shades and even tones on top of our color. Now, the sneaky trick of creating a shade of a color means we have to add what color on top? You're right, black. So let's get out our black crayon. And what we're gonna do is just over the top of the front part of our red, we're gonna press down hard with our black, going on top of our red, mixing them together, but then poor black after a while loses its energy. But look, as soon as I put black on that red, it turned into a shade of that red. It made that red darker. Now let's make a shade of our yellow by doing the same thing. Let's get out our black crayon again, and let's press hard with our black crayon on top of the yellow, but then, oh no, our poor black crayon is losing steam again. But that's okay, because look, we have a shade of our yellow and what looks like a tone of our yellow because it's a little bit lighter than our shade. All right, let's get our black crayon out again and we are going to make a shade of our blue and a tone of our blue. So let's get out our black crayon and on top of the dark part of our blue, let's press down hard with our black on top and then press a little lighter and a little lighter and a little lighter until there we go. We have a shade of the blue, but then it starts getting a little bit lighter to create a tone. Nice job, everyone. So let's put that materials exploration away. You can either turn over your paper or you can get a new paper. It's up to you because on the back or on a new paper, we are going to just experiment with our crayons, making them lighter or darker in different values. We're just gonna make it abstract. And if you don't know what abstract means when an artwork's not supposed to look like anything in real life, but the artist was just kind of using their imagination and experimenting with the materials to make something new. So we're gonna make our own material exploration abstract using our crayons. But this time, look in your crayon box and see, do you have any naked crayons? Oh, naked crayons are the crayons that don't have the paper on them. If you have some naked crayons can do a really fun technique called shading. Now watch how it's done. I'm gonna take my naked crayon, it doesn't have any paper on it, I'm gonna lay it down flat on my piece of paper as if it was taking a nap. Then I'm gonna get my pincher out. I'm gonna pinch my little naked crayon, and I'm gonna hold down my piece of paper with my other hand, and with my pincher on the flat naked crayon, I'm gonna rub it, I'm gonna press down with my hand, and I'm still pinching it, but I'm rubbing my naked crayon back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, pressing down onto that naked crayon, but it's laying flat. Look at that. Why, when I rubbed that naked crayon, it made a very light magenta. If I pressed hard on it, just normally, like I would with my hands like this, look how much lighter my shading is than if I was just coloring it in normally. So using this shading technique by putting your naked crayons on their side and rubbing them back and forth, create wonderful tints. So let's find another naked crayon. Oh! Put down your naked crayon somewhere else on your page, give it a pinch, hold down the paper with your other hand and rub it back and forth, and back and forth. And look at that beautiful tint of the color. Nice job. And you might even on top of it, just color in normally to see the difference between the shading and how to color in normally. Look how different it is. All right, let's find another naked crayon, if you can. A crayon that doesn't have its paper on it. Any other place on your page, you can lay it down flat, hold the paper with your other hand, and rub it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And look how beautiful that shading of my purple is turning out. Now I'm gonna color it in a little bit normally on top just to see the difference. Look at that. That's how I colored in normally. This is what it looks like when I shade. Awesome. So you can look for other colors that are naked colors in your crayon box, and you can go ahead and any white space on your page, you can lay it down flat, pinch it and rub it back and forth to create that shading technique, and even experiment by coloring it in normally to see how much darker your regular color is compared to the shading. Okay, so you can just keep going. Pick whichever colors you want to show shading and how they look when you color them in. You can even use black, a naked black on top, to either make some tones or some shades of the colors that you have on your paper as well to make it a little bit darker. So go ahead, find any naked crayons and use the shading technique, rub back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. You can even combine your colors going one on top of the other to see what sort of color combo they make. And you can even color it in normally to see what the normal color is compared to the shading. It's all up to you. If you want to jazz it up with some lines or patterns or even shapes, up to you. You can add whatever designs you want to on top just to make it a bit different. Up to you. All right, friends. Well, I hope you had fun doing this color experiment where we made different values and tint shades and tones using our crayons. All right, I can't wait to see yours.